Hi, Team Rise Above. It's Coach Tanner, and I just want to continue our talk about those 6 sources of influence. And the one I was going to talk about now is personal motivation. And we've talked about how willpower isn't the whole story about making a change. There's a lot of other factors that play into it. But willpower is one of those factors, and that's kind of what this one's talking about. See, whatever change you want to make, whatever you want to start doing, there are people out there who love doing it. You maybe not so much, not yet, because maybe you want the results of the change, okay, or you know that you need to change, but you don't want to necessarily because that's the nature that we are, and that's why it's hard to change. So, how do we love what we hate? Okay, how do you love what you hate? And so there's some strategies you can implement to help you change your mindset and build this. And the first one is to visit your default future. What that means is, think about where the path that you're on and where you will end up if you don't change. This played a huge role in my transformation, my decision to lose weight. We spent Christmas gathered around the hospital bed of a sick relative, and that made me go to a place where I was picturing myself in the hospital bed with my family gathered around, and I realized that without a change, that was the path I was going down. And so the more vivid you make this visit, somewhere, someone, something that is close to where you're heading, that is so incredibly vivid that it elicits an emotional response, and that's influential, that's powerful, okay? And then kind of to go along with that is to tell the whole vivid story. Okay, use descriptive words to sum up where you are. Use descriptive words to sum up where you're going. Okay, it's not just if I don't lose weight, I won't be able to play with my kids. It's if I don't lose weight, I won't be able to play catch with Liam, and instead I'll be on the sideline watching as somebody else's dad is teaching him and playing catch with him. Okay, or I won't be able to get on the floor and wrestle around with grandkids someday because I'll be ridden to a bed or a chair or maybe even dead, and they won't even know their grandfather. Don't don't sell the words short, because the words that we use are important. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Use value words. Okay, why are you doing it? Okay, what principle, what quality, what standard are you developing or adhering to as a result of your change? Okay, for me, I can use my body to glorify God. That's a big thing for me. Okay, I believe that we were given these as tools to worship, and treating it badly is not the right approach. Okay, the other thing for me is I'm developing skills that apply to other things. For example, I'm developing discipline that I can use to be a better husband and a better father and a better coach and a better worker. And so these are qualities and principles that mean a lot to me, that make the stakes very high, make it worth the change. And then you can use these things, this default future, this whole vivid story, and these value words to and draw from those to create what I call a personal motivation statement. Okay, and this can be this is whatever you need it to be. It can be very simple. For example, for a long time, and I still use it sometimes, my personal motivational statement was just do it now. Because I realized that I'm really good at making lists and finding things that I should do and then putting them off. So when I catch myself in these crucial moments um, where instead of doing an action, I think of an action, I just say, do it now. Is it something that can be done now? If it's something that can be done now, Tanner, you do it now. And that helps me to stop procrastinating, stop being lazy, and get to task. A deeper example than that, I guess, would be borrow from the book that I talked about, Change Anything. It's a lady, Rosemary, who was a drug addict and a prostitute, and she was implementing positive change in her life, and she got a job and worked at this job very hard, and long story short, created a report that she turned into her boss, and her boss said, thank you very much, that's very dependable of you. And she said, wait a minute, dependable? I've never been called dependable before. I've been called hooker, I've been called tramp, I've been called addict, never dependable. So she crafted a personal motivational statement that said, I am not a hooker, I am not a tramp, I am not an addict, I'm somebody you can depend on. And whenever she felt that draw to go back to her old way of life, she would repeat this to herself to motivate herself to stay on track. And again, I'll say this, the way we talk to ourselves, the words that we use are so powerful. Okay, they can be powerful for good or to tear ourselves down. Okay, it's the same as words that we use to other people, right? We can use our words to tear somebody apart and to tear them down and to break them down, or we can use those words to build them up and edify them and encourage them. And the words that you use to yourself do exactly the same thing. And so there's those things about crafting that personal motivational statement. The last thing is to gamify it. Make it into a game. Reading this book right now called Level Up Your Life by Steve Cam, I think his name is. And it's all about how to gamify your life. And, you know, it works great here now. So we can do that by setting a time frame to complete a task. We can do that by making small milestones that, you know, lead us along the way and celebrating and rewarding those small milestones. We can do that simply by finding somebody to compete with. Great example of this, Fitbit, right? A lot of you guys have Fitbits, and you need to get those steps so you can get more steps, and you're